Well, hello, friends. Thanks for joining me. It's Thursday. We're getting back into the Word so the Word gets into us. And I'll tell you, if there's not a lesson for us here today, then you've learned it all. You've figured it all out because we're still looking at the life of Samson. Brother David got us into it yesterday, talking about the birth of Samson and how God blessed him. And now today, we're going to see a Samson who just has lost his way. And I would even say maybe has even lost his mind. Look with me in chapter 16. I want to go down to verse 15 and start there. So this is Delilah speaking, by the way, where she's identified earlier on in chapter 16. How can you say I love you, she told him, that's Delilah, remember, when your heart is not with me? This is the third time you have mocked me and not told me what makes your strength so great. Because she nagged him day after day and pleaded with him until she wore him out, he told her the whole truth and said to her, my hair has never been cut because I'm a Nazarite to God from birth. If I am shaved, my strength will leave me, and I will become weak and be like any other man. I read a quote one time. It says, "Love makes fools of us all," and certainly that's the case for Samson. You know, he could use a little bit of Solomon's wisdom here, and even Solomon, with his wisdom, wasn't able to figure out what true love is, and that's the problem here. You know, Samson may have a love for her, and I would say it's probably more of a lust for her, honestly. Because if he truly loved her, then he would see the truth in this situation. But she didn't love him. And it's fascinating because she starts off by saying, how can you say I love you? And then look what she says, when your heart is not with me, this is the third time you have mocked me. And what's fascinating is that she's right. For 3 different times when she asked him for, hey, what's the secret of your strength? He gave her something, and then she would do it. I mean, amazingly, it would happen to him. And here's the Philistines. I wonder if there's a correlation between that. Duh. And it wasn't once, not twice, but 3 times this happened where Samson would give her some sort of a new rope or twine or something like that, and it would happen to him, miraculously. And there's the Philistines. And sadly, she even acknowledged that 3 times you mocked me. You haven't told me the truth on this thing. And so Samson should have put 2 and 2 or 3 and 3 together, whatever you want to say, and said, hey, you know what? I can't trust this woman. Her motives are certainly not love for me. She doesn't even care about me. And of course, we know her motive was financial gain in the end result. But no, unfortunately, love has made a fool out of Samson, not to mention sin, because he's obviously cooperating in sin here. Because it says that after nagging and pleading, finally he opens up and tells her the truth. And that would be his demise. Because just as soon as he's asleep, verse 18 says, she calls somebody, he's asleep in her lap. And then, first of all, verses 18 and, 16, 17, 18 tells me that she calls the Philistines, hey, I've got him this time. Come back one more time, I've got him. And of course, she does have him because he unwise, and certainly lacking righteousness in his decision making here, gives her his secret, and she takes advantage of him. But certainly this should be a reminder to us that true, genuine love is going to speak truth. True, genuine love is going to seek the greater good of the other. It's not going to be self-centered and self-motivated, which is clearly what Delilah was. I mean, you would think Samson would have figured out after the second time that, hey, her motives must not be pure. There must not be a true, genuine love for me here. Then I need to move on. I need to seek love in the right places instead of seeking love in all the wrong places. I guess if we're going to go with citing quotes and cliches today. And it's a reminder to us that when we're seeking love, we have to make sure that we're being guided by God, and we desiring love as it is to be experienced pure, wholesome, righteous, truth-speaking love, and we are to demonstrate that same love to others. Samson allowed lust, which Solomon did too, by the way, but Samson allowed lust for Delilah to blind him to truth. We just can't do that. Whether we're talking about the feelings we have for another person, or whether we're talking about the desire we have for something, we can never allow lust to blind us to truth, that this one that we desire may not be best for us. They may not have the best intention for me. This thing that I desire, it may not bring about the greatest good for me. It may not have a tremendous benefit for me. And with just being honest to ourselves, move on. Resist it. Reject it. Samson didn't do that. It's going to cost him. And it's ultimately going to cost him his life. And sadly, in a lot of cases, there are many, whether it's an addiction, in some cases, it's not something as difficult as addiction. In some cases, it's just an infatuation. that can be denied, that doesn't have that chemical component to it. But we allow ourselves to be drawn into an unhealthy temptation and then an unhealthy desire for something that turns into full-blown lust, James says, and then sin. So let's just be an example to us today that we must take great care that we have we have genuine righteous desires. We focus those desires toward righteous goals and endeavors, whether that be seeking someone that we want to spend our life with, seeking someone just to have a friendship with, or whether it's something. We're never motivated by lust and selfish desire. We're always motivated by genuine agape love and a selfless desire to glorify God. Well, friends, it may have been a tough week for you, but maybe you've had a great week. Regardless, it's almost done in terms of a work week. And so I just want to encourage you, finish well. Demonstrate the love of God today in Christ. Demonstrate the love for fellow man today through selfless acts of service. And then ultimately shine the light of Christ into the places you're going today so that others will see Jesus in you and glorify him. And in that way, we honor him by living sent.